Well, good day, everyone. It's me, and as the title suggests, this is going to be a tour of my home, the Defiant, but it's going to be an intimate look at all of the items that I have collected thus far on my travels. It has always been my intention to fill the Defiant with memories of the people that I have collected, the places that I have collected, and the experiences that I've had. So here is my invitation to you and an insight into my life and travels thus far. So let's begin with the very first item that was placed here in the Defiant. I often start my videos with the camera focused on this. This was a gift from my friend Mel. She went with me up to Boston on September 15th, 2015 to pick up the Defiant, and she had this picture hidden in her backpack with the intention of giving it to me as my very first housewarming present. Love and miss you, Mel. Next, I have a statue of Ganesha hanging above the door frame. One of the first, I think it was the first time I went to India back in the day when I had a professional career that afforded me travel. But I love that it hangs above the doorway. And then we've got more statues from my trip to India, these two in bronze. I really love the Shiva and the detail in the carvings. We've got more statues from my time in India here, as well as a couple of rocks that I collected along my mini hikes in Lake Havasu. This dried cactus in the back was from a hike. I just love how detailed the holes and the markings on it are. The crystal you see here was a gift from Gary the nudist. I ran into him in his full nudity on a hike down in Lake Havasu. And just when I was leaving town, he gifted me this beautiful crystal rock. There is a picture frame housing marbles and seashells. The marbles were on a candy jar, a gift from Patsy when she came into town to visit me, her and Dave, when I was down in Lake Havasu, Arizona. I have since lost the jar, but the marbles I've kept inside this picture frame, which was a gift from my co-workers when I worked at MD Everywhere. When I was leaving the company, there was a photograph in there I've since lost, but the picture frame remains. And I think of them and that job when I look at it. There's some seashells in the back from two different state parks. One, Assateague State Park, and the other, Lake Havasu City State Park. And I remember my times in both of those places when I look at those seashells. Cacti and succulents from my time in Lake Havasu again. Cannot forget Lieutenant Commander Data, if I can get him into the proper light, which is easier said than done. But it was a gift from Katie. I believe it was her sister-in-law who was selling some things or giving away things at a yard sale, and she wanted to make sure her Star Trek memorabilia got a good home. Katie knows that I am a big Star Trek fan, so she sent a bunch of stuff to me, but Data had to be on the dashboard as my official co-pilot. I've got this little beaver statue and lemon gifts from my youngest, Simone. The beaver she made when she was either in the 3rd or 4th grade, so I've had this beaver for a very long time. Whoops, I tripped. She's 22 years old, so that'll tell you how long I've had that little beaver. Next, photographs of my girls you guys have seen. Oh, this little jar container was from my trip in India. I use it now to house loose change for the few tolls that I encounter on the road. But, yeah, it makes me think of India. Speaking of which, more stuff from my trip to India. I have these beautiful marble statues gifted to me by my sister, Chetna Mehta. Although her last name isn't Mehta now because she's married. But she gave me these beautiful marble statues. Everyone thinks they're plastic or a toy until I hand them one and they feel the weight of it and they realize this is solid marble. The peace pipe you see in the middle was from my very first powwow that I went to in Montana. Sally and Michael Stricker and Lois Reed invited me to go along with them to the powwow, and I picked up this peace pipe as memorabilia of that trip. I haven't used it to smoke anything yet, but maybe on a special occasion I'll stuff it with something really good to smoke and use it. But right now it sits in pristine condition on the console. These pine cones and lava rocks are memories from my time in Rocky Point, the mountains up here in Oregon, in southern Oregon, staying at Dean's Cabin, and the many hikes I've taken while I was up there. There is a piece of wood, or two pieces of wood back there with these interesting striations and grooves. I got that in Yellowstone. I think of Betty Boop. She turned me on to collecting one. They're just from the worms burrowing in the dirt and also burrowing through the wood, and they just look really cool. So I think of Yellowstone when I see that. Now behind that you'll see a green and yellow scarf that was hand knitted for me by my friend Tanya. She and I are both Green Bay Packer fans, and she made this scarf for me, and it's been on the dashboard here in the Defiant ever since I moved in. Some interesting types of moss that I discovered along my hikes here in Oregon. A seagull feather that I found at Lake Shastina down in California when we went camping. So that sits there on the dashboard. Speaking of being a cheesehead, cannot not show my cheesehead here where a television used to be. This was a gift from Jill and Andrew in 2013. I couldn't run the Marine Corps Marathon, but I came into town to support my friends who were running, and Andrew and Jill gifted me this cheese hat, and I love it, and I wear it every football season. Now we're at the photos. Let's see, there's one of me and my mom, my sister Sharon, my sister Loretta, my niece Sunit at Christmas time when we were little. Here's a photograph of me at the Tiki Bar in Isla Morada, and the gentleman you see depicted there, I cannot remember his name, but he was my first one-night stand ever, and I just love the fact that I have a photograph of him. A picture of me and my friends that I worked with at a doctor's office down in Miami when we were going down to the Keys for a snorkeling trip. Joanne, Viviana, and Judy. A picture of me at 12 or 13 down in Miami, and then another one of me at 3 years old. Here's a photograph of my Victory Garden back in Long Island. A picture of the first Defiant. May she rest in peace. More photos on the ceiling. Oh, I love this picture, 1775. One of my favorite photos. There's Tanya on the left there. Well, yeah, this picture is kind of self-explanatory. You know, I'm just an adventurous kind of girl. Down here is a picture of the Grand Budapest, or at least the front porch. On that swinging, rocking bench right there is where my best friend saved my life. I'll talk about that in another time. A photograph of me and Amanda on the morning, New Year's Day. God, I can't remember the year, 2014. Where we became members of the Polar Bear Club. Don't know what the water temperature was when we dove in to take a swim, but the air temperature was only 23 that day in Coney Island. Photographs of my rafting trip down the Yellowstone River. And then the latest photograph taken by Katie when we were driving to Mount Shasta, which you could see in the corner there. My map on the wall just so I can have inspiration and figure out where I want to go to next as I travel around the country. This map, an old map depicting what the territories looked like, California, Oregon, Utah, and New Mexico, long before there was even an Arizona in the U.S. But I like that map, and I got that when we were in Ashland, Oregon, Laura and Katie and I. A bunch of pictures of my beautiful Gorgeous, smart, intelligent, lovely daughters. Got to keep my memories of them alive. They're alive, but I mean, I don't see them as often, so I got to have pictures of my kids on the wall. I love this one. I know you guys have seen that picture a lot on Facebook. And then our time in the Bahamas kissing dolphins, swimming with the dolphins. That was cool. All right, let's keep it moving. What else can I show you? Oh, I've been dreading showing this hat on camera because I'm not sure if he knows I have it. But Will, if you were wondering what happened to your fedora, I took it. I admit it. I needed a memory of you. I needed something that belonged to you in my home, and I just got to try it on for a second. It looks good on me. Maybe one day I'll give you this hat back. Maybe. This plate on the wall was a gift from, how to describe him, my last lover, Charlie. I was helping him clean out his basement, and I stumbled upon this little plate, and I asked him could I have it, and he said yes, and anything that belonged to Charlie was special to me, and I wanted it. I've got some beads from Mardi Gras, which I have never gone to Mardi Gras, but they were gifted to me by Will, so I have them. There's one or two on here from different things, like this one was from the Shamrock Marathon I did down in Virginia Beach, and just some green beads I got when working St. Patty's Day at Home Depot. Then we move over to the running wall with the serious memories of 13 half marathons, 6 full marathons, countless 5Ks and 10Ks. But this wall is just like my wall of achievement, where I have photographs of me running with my running friends. And yeah, it reminds me of the athlete that I used to be. I really like this wall. And then, let's see here, we move over to the kitchen. There is another picture that I got from Charlie when I was helping him clean out his basement again. I liked the picture, and it was his, and I asked could I have it. He said yes, and it's a part of my home now. Heather, she is so awesome. She sent me this picture here. I love it. My second housewarming gift from Will. Wanderlust, I love that. This is a cigar box. Terry Wright Jr. sent me a shit ton of cigars, and I smoked every one of them, but I put this cigar box on the wall. So awesome. Fred Miller helped me drive the Defiant across country from Maryland to Wyoming, and he found this quarter that was minted in 1989, the same year that the Defiant was made. He polished it up and gave it to me, so there it remains on the wall. Heather Ruger again. I love Thoreau. I get him a lot. She gifted me that. Here is a dime. There's a funny story involved in that, but it's just my lucky dime. I'll leave it at that. Medallions that were attached to the beads from Mardi Gras that Will gave me, and I just mounted those on the wall. And then now we're into the cards and photographs that I have been sent by my friends and gifted. Just more memories. Eason, one of the kids from, God, where are they from? Where were they from? I can't even remember because I'm old. But he was working with me in Yellowstone, and he drew this picture of me. It's so great. And it's such an accurate picture, too. Danielle Thompson, her daughter, I think it was her daughter, drew this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who drew this picture of the Defiant? Cards from all my friends and well wishes. Picture of Katie. Oh, more stuff from KT on the Star Trek theme. Worf and Jadzia. Card from my friends in red felt. Susan, I've got so many cards and stuff from you on here. Megan also. Nicole, postcards from her. Oh, I love this. This was my first swim in fresh water, but the light's not right, so you can't see it. And this one, you got to look really closely to actually get this picture, but yeah, I was puffing. and she caught me on camera. But there you have it, guys. The Defiant. My memories. Oh, Susan. Home Depot, Lake Havasu City. One of the few friends that I made when I was there at that Home Depot. But I love and miss you, Susan. And thank you so much for this gift. I think of you when I look at it. Let's see what's on the other side that I may have forgotten. Oh, just some magnets from Yellowstone. But yeah, there you have it, guys. This video is long enough. Over 15 minutes. I feel something crawling on me. Probably a spider web. The Defiant is full of spiders, which is good because they eat the mosquitoes that come in and the ants that try to invade. But my home, my life, my memories, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this insight, this look into who I am and how I've decorated my home. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.